What's up, guys? How you doing? What's Kevin doing today? Chilling. I was lazy this morning, and I've been working out the back of the house. I got a couple roses. Jan's given me roses for Valentine's. I'm like, different over the years. And a plant. So rather than put it in the ground, I put it in pots because then I can move them around if they get too hot or too wet or whatever. And I found a space for them, and they seem to be happy, even though they get burned up over there. And because I've been on my own, doing everything while Jan's taking care of her mom, I neglected them a little bit, and they dropped out most of their leaves. So I trimmed them right up today, and put some cow poo on them. Manure, fertilizer, and some more dirt. Give them a good watering, put them in the shade, and let them do their thing for a couple weeks until they come back. And tidying up, trimming bushes, and fixing this and fixing that. That's basically been my day. I went in the house and cooled off to come back out to chat to you guys. I wanted to address something that's I'm really interested in. And that's building something and traveling in it. And I have a story. So back in the day, my first vehicle that I got, I bought a, I must have been about 25 or something the first time I did it. Actually, from when I was a teenager living in the US, young teenager living in the US, there used to be a custom van magazines. And I seen them, and I was like, whoa. So I used to read these magazines and see how they customized them. Back then, all they really did is put carpet and a stereo in them, and a bar and some lights, you know, things like that. But it was the fact that you could do that. So anyway, I was in Germany, and this kind of alcoholic guy that I knew was selling a Volkswagen minibus. And so I bought it from him, and it had all its seats in it. So I took all the seats out and built a camper in the back. It's the first one I did. And you know, did all the carpentry work myself. I actually built the cabinets right inside the bus. And back then I didn't really have many tools. You know, it has like a jigsaw and a drill and a screwdriver and things like that. Anyway, it came out absolutely beautiful. And back then I used some army varnish, and it was like deep gloss, and it was like, oh my god, too much. But you know, I wasn't really a carpenter much then, but that's what I did. But it came out, I mean, even today's standard, when I think about it, to what I can do today, I would say it was like a 10 out of 10. I even built a concertina cover for the cooker top. It was one of those that you could unfold the like a shroud that going around the cooker to protect everything from the heat. Well, when that was down, I made a concertina cabinet to go over it. So you lift it out and then up and then back to get to the cooker. And I mean, it just come out real nice. And in the back, I took the back seats out, and you know, there's the engine in the old VW bus. Well, I built a 1 foot tall suitcase on top, so you could put like 3 suitcases full of clothes in it. And right at the back, when you open the back door, there was all tools in it. So I'm skipping over a lot of this because I have a point. And it come out amazing. So I started driving it to work, and my boss at the time, I was in the green clothes, my boss was a captain, and he seen it outside. He didn't ask if he could go in it, he just opened the door. I guess I left it open, and took all his friends in it. So all these other guys, you know, captains and so on, all inside my van looking at it. And I'm like, I looked out the window and seen him in there. I was like, what's going on here? So I went outside, and they said, who built this? I said, I did it. I built it all myself. And they were like, no way. I said, yeah. So I had two bosses, a warrant officer at the time and WO2 Kevin White, and I forget the captain's name, but anyway, what they did is they got this big, it's like a trailer, four-wheel trailer, supposed to be for carrying stores in it. So they said, we want you to build us a bedroom in there for exercise in the office. I said, okay. So I took out some cabinets, built the bed, put the army mattress in, lights and all that sort of stuff in there, and they were really happy with it. So that was the first time. Then I took my then family. I didn't last long because I found out she was enjoying other soldiers as well as myself. But I drove from Menden near Dortmund, all the way down to Berchtesgaden in Munich. You know, past Munich down to Berchtesgaden, down the southeast side of Germany, and then over into Austria and up into the mountains. Beautiful, with the Volkswagen minibus. The only bad thing about it was coming down from Obersalzberg, which was where the eagle's nest was, coming down out of the mountain. I mean, it's crazy big and crazy steep. And what happened? The brakes started to give out. So I had to use the gears, but the engine was going crazy and I couldn't use, the brakes were too hot, they wouldn't work. But luckily there was like a flat piece where I could just like, okay, here we go, do or die. Jumped on the brakes, pulled into this little like lay-by thing, and let them cool down, and then after that I got down out of the mountain easy. But that was an eye-opener. So after that I knew I was going back to England, so I knew I couldn't afford to run it in England because, you know, you didn't get paid any money in England. So I sold it, and the guy who bought it from me thought that it was built, I didn't know this, but he just looked at it and said, I like it, I'll buy it, because he thought that it was built by a German company. So he bought it from me and tried to sell it to a German, and the Germans, of course, you have to had to be built by a recognized company if you wanted to get it registered. So about a year later he contacted me and said, where's the paperwork for who built the van? I said, I built it myself. And he goes, no way. So anyway, he had to bite the bullet and buy it back, take the money back off the guy and keep it himself, because under British law you can just build it yourself. So that's how good it was. But then years later I moved back to the US with after I got out the green clothes, with the sole purpose of traveling. And I mean, I planned this thing like it was a military mission, I tell you. Even down to going to the Arctic Ocean and everything. A little bit too much noise over there, so I moved over here, hopefully quieter. So I sold my house in England, and silly boy married a second woman, and who then did the same thing as the first one, decided to have extramarital activities. Eventually got rid of her, but we were together while traveling, and so I went to flew over to Florida and went to Lazy Days near Tampa and bought a good quality second-hand Allegro Bay, and it was they had two. One, I think the red one, there was a red interior, which was like, no, that was 34 foot, and then there was a blue one, which was pale blue, which is not bad, and that was 32 foot, and so I paid cash for it, and then they had it ready for me in like 2 days. There was a problem with one of the wheels, so I had to go back and get that fixed. They guaranteed everything, you know, for a period of time, 30 days I think, and so they got the wheel fixed. As soon as the wheel was fixed, went to Walmart and bought all the kitchen stuff we needed, bought all the food we needed, threw it all inside, and then took the rental car back, and then off we went. We drove from Florida all the way up to the North Main woods in North Maine, and there's a town up there called Millinocket, you can literally walk down the high street and the moose will walk down the other side of the street. It's that kind of place. It did like 3 days canoeing, seen lots of wildlife, beautiful, really enjoyed it. And so the vehicle, it never broke down, never. Drove for 16 months all over the US, and then went up through Canada all the way up to Alaska, around Alaska, and then drove up to Fairbanks, parked it, and then she stayed in the motorhome and I got in the van with some other guys and drove 500 miles on a dirt road to the Arctic Ocean, to the water. So that was like my adventure side, and I was really excited to go. And it was awesome, awesome, awesome. Didn't see any, seen musk ox, but didn't see any polar bears at that time. It was summertime, so they were farther out. Anyway, came all the way back down to Oregon, through Canada, through BC, to Oregon, Washington, Oregon, California, and then drove all the way back over to North Carolina because my mom had a friend there, and decided to buy a house in Oxford, North Carolina, and then sold the motorhome, and then spent like 8 years, I think it was, where everything I made, I bought the house cash because I sold my house in England, and the profit I made on that, I could buy this rundown place in with it was 5 acres, and bought it cash, and then did it all up, and that's when she started messing around. I didn't even really talk much. I just put my clothes in a bag and left, and came to Thailand, and then rented, eventually, you know, rented a room from Jan. That's how I met her, and she showed me around town a little bit, and we just kind of hit it off. And but now I'm getting itchy feet. Here's the point, I'm getting itchy feet. And I'm thinking I'd love to go back to the US and buy a step van, you know, the vans that sell tools and stuff like that up, and build myself a new home inside, solar on the roof, all that sort of jazz, and just wander around the country. But with the way things are going now, and the controls that are coming on and all that sort of stuff, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. So, but I still have the itchy thing that I want to build something to travel. But you know, it's hot here, so you definitely need AC. And they don't really have campsites like they have. But you know what's cool about Thailand? You can basically just pull over anywhere and stop, and nobody will bother you. You can, like, if you stop in a petrol station, gas station, you can sleep there the night and they won't stop you. They don't bother you. I've seen it many times. So you know, if you're going to the north or going to the east, they do have national parks, and I learned that you can't have a double axle, or you can't have two wheels on one, you know, 4 wheels on one axle. You can only have like a smaller vehicle. So I'm thinking, do I need that, or do I need something else? So I'm in the process of running things through my mind right now. Do I build something in the back of my truck? Do I build a trailer? What do I do? So if you have any ideas, I'd be interested. Because they don't have a step van here, otherwise I'd be looking at that. But they don't have them here. They have vans, but I don't know if I want a van or not. The vans aren't that big. Some of them, the newer ones are bigger, but obviously the price goes up. So there's a email. If you go to About, you'll find the email, and you can email me a picture, or you just write it in a comment if you want, and you can, because I'm getting itchy, and I need to, itchy feet, and I need to do something. So, you know what I was thinking? I was even thinking of buying like a Honda. I was looking at the Royal Enfield 350 the other day, but they want 150,000 baht for it. A beautiful bike, nice and big. But I was thinking, if you had a motorcycle that size, maybe 350, something like that, and make it into a trike, put a tow hitch at the back, build a small trailer, so that you have cover over top of your head. And then in that trailer you would have a place to lay down and sleep, and your clothes and water and solar on the roof, so you have electricity, all that jazz. I think that would be like, that's what I'm leaning towards right now. So like a trike with a trailer on the back. Not a trike that, you know, you see like a big old engine on and, you know, 3 people can sit in it. I'm talking about something, a normal motorcycle, but with 2 wheels at the back. And then you can have a tow hitch, which would pull a trailer, and the trailer roof would come right over top of your head to protect you from the sun. So you could put your photography equipment somewhere in the shade, all that sort of jazz. I think that I'd love to do that. So I'm thinking about it. What do you think? The things that go through my head. So look guys, that was fun sharing that. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, time to sign off. I'm going to water the garden now and see if I can get bitten while it gets dark. It's the coolest time of the day. So look after yourselves. Buckets of blessings, rivers of peace, joy, and kindness.